Standing by the bedside of a neighbor, was just about to cross the swelling tide. When I asked him if he would do me a favor, kindly take this message to the other side. Well, you may have to make this journey home without me. Sooner or later, that debt must be paid. But when you reach that golden city, don't forget to tell my Savior what I said.
Family is defined as a group of people who are closely related by birth, marriage, or adoption. And your lineage is defined as all the people who are descended from a common ancestor. In this documentary, we will talk about our lineage that has created today what we call our family. We will travel down the road of the Chaney Allen ancestry to arrive at the destination of who we are today. Sit back and enjoy the ride. The first 19 or so Africans arrived ashore near the English colony of Jamestown, Virginia in 1619, bought by Dutch traders who had seized them from a captured Spanish slave ship. For hundreds of years, our ancestors were sold to many plantations across the South, which would explain the origin of our roots in the Mississippi and Alabama region. Our genetic makeup consists of African, Native American, and European heritage. We can see that in our caramel complexion skin tone, our Native American grain of hair, and in our predominantly light eye color. History will show that our ancestors were self-sufficient. They were entrepreneurs, landowners, agriculturists, and a family that could and would overcome any obstacle placed in front of them because family unity was first and foremost. Our ancestors had the respect of white people at a time where the word respect was not associated with white and black interaction. "Morning, Miss Doll," was how our great-great-grandmother was acknowledged by any white man or white woman that came into her presence. But who better to tell the story than Hodges Williamson from the red clay hills of Choctaw County, Butler, Alabama, whom we all know as Uncle Ray. We will also interview the fifth generation from the Chaney Allen lineage, Iris Williams, better known to me as Uncle Iris. They will take us back to a place and time that we should never forget and a place we will forever cherish. Uncle Ray will intrigue us with stories of Riley Noble, our great-great-great-grandfather, a white man that married a black woman named Kitty Allen that birthed into the world Robert Allen. He will also talk about my namesake, our great-great-great-grandfather, Alexander Chaney, who was a Native American man that married an African woman by the name of Elvira. And from this union, a baby girl was birthed into the world named Lorena Chaney, also known as Doll. Uncle Ray and Uncle Iris will share some stories, some funny and some sad. But nevertheless, it's how we became who we are today. The first ancestor Uncle Ray will talk about is our great-great-great-grandfather Riley Noble. So with that being said, Uncle Ray, take it away.
Well, I can remember what they told me about him. I don't remember seeing him. I remember his grave was out in our yard, and they told me that he had a warehouse where they received groceries and stuff from Mobile on the boat.
Ronald Noble was a white man that lived during a time that showing care or concern for blacks would label him as a nigger lover. But as the Civil War was coming to an end and slaves were being freed, the slaveholder and freed slave relationship was beginning to take on a new role. Ronald Noble's father was a slaveholder named Joseph Noble. Joseph owned 61 slaves, 1,700 acres of wooded land, and 300 acres of farming land. After the enumeration of slaves in 1860, he allowed his 61 slaves to take their possessions and leave the plantation. One family that left the plantation had a daughter named Kitnaw, also known as Kitty. Kitty was born into slavery in 1850, and at the age of 10, at the end of the Civil War, Kitty and her enumerated family migrated 47.7 miles to Camden, Alabama. Kitty, being 2 years younger than Ryle Noble, no doubt were playmates growing up on the Noble plantation. And 8 years later, an 18-year-old Ryle Noble went to Camden, Alabama and found his childhood friend, and they both traveled to Choctaw County, Alabama. Ryle built Kitty a house and he moved her in. And he built himself a home right in front of Kitty's home and a store where he started a business. For over a decade, she lived in a home that he built for her right behind his home.
Well, you know, them white people didn't care nothing about that down that end. But anyway, that really I didn't ever hear too much about it because it was way before my time.
Ryle Noble and a 30-year-old Kitty Allen birthed 5 sons. Joseph, named after Ryle's father, Robert, Charlie, Ray, and Roy. They all had the surname Allen that Kitty possessed, probably from her parents' former slaveholders before the Nobles took possession, or they took on the name to disconnect from being part of the Noble plantation. Also living in the household with Kitty and her sons were 2 servants, Mary E. Williams and Rosa Williams. That's right, I said servants.
Do you know anything about that?
Who did?
Daddy, Robert Allen, had 4 siblings.
Oh yeah, I know him, sure. His brother was named Joe Allen and Joseph. And,
Daddy's brother.
Yeah.
Because he said they had 5 children together. I do know that.
Yeah, right.
Because he came back from over, well, I found out it was in Mississippi, but she came back from Mississippi. They had 5 children together when this lady was telling it, because I didn't know nothing about it, but it somehow or another this. Well, I'm gonna go with it that they had 5 children together when they came up, because he came back. That lady was saying that he went and got her, or he came from, evidently Mississippi, because that's where his home was at. When he came over, they had 5 children together, and Daddy was being one of the 5 children.
You mean Robert Allen?
Robert Allen.
Oh yeah. I do know this one guy stayed over the river there with where your grandmother stayed in Crawfordsville. And his name was Joe Allen. Joseph Allen or something like that.
When me and Mom went across the river? You talking about?
No, that was when Eltha lived across the river with Riley.
Oh, okay, I don't remember that.
Actually, all I could hear Daddy said that he would have been, my grandfather there, Robert Allen, he could have been a white man if his dad hadn't been fooling around with old nigga woman, black woman. Right, that's what I heard. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that union.
Well, I was so young I didn't ever get to see it. The only thing I have never saw him. Just his grave was right there in the yard. And what I can go by is what I hear Daddy and Mom say. So he had a dock down on the river, a warehouse, and the freight would come up on the boat from Mobile. And he had a warehouse, and we made it pretty good from what I heard on down through the years. My grandfather, he paid the tax on the land, so actually he had better than 1,000 acres of land. He had his brothers and all in, and got behind on the tax, and Robert Allen caught the tax up from what I heard. So he had that land, and I ain't getting on to what Doll Allen had, Alexander, he had 300 acres out on the West Wing, they called it. But anyway, he had that ground out there, and we would take ice cream out there, and I tell you who he looked like. I don't know if you ever seen Custer. He had that long hair and a long beard, and his hair was golden. And my grandmother, we'd go out there and take ice cream, had to walk. Me and Shug, I was as little as William Maul. I guess I wasn't no more than about 6 years old at the oldest. Might have not been quite that, but I know we'd go barefooted. and that sand was hot. And I'd run up ahead of my grandmother and she'll and get to some shade. And they just walking slow. By the time before I can get rested for running, they done caught up there. And then I'm running to another shade tree. But when we get there, and she would carry that ice cream in there to him. And he would soup it and it's running all on his whiskers. And he said, "Come in here, boy." I said, "Not me, I ain't coming in there." In that house, I ain't never got no fun on the porch when he was living in there. I was scared of him.
Talk about what Doll Allen did for a living.
Oh, my dad, Mom was a midwife.
Yeah, we was talking about that last night. You remember when Mom used to go, people used to, I told you, white people used to come by there, because I remember going with her and this white man to deliver this baby. And she like stayed there for, I know we were there for 2 days. At least I thought it was.
Well,
I was about 5 years old then.
This old guy come up there one night, it was raining about like it was here the other day. And know what he told Mom? Said, "Dollars about that time." And they lived down past the church on down there where the white folks start again, you know.
Past the church, the Baptist church down there.
Yeah, way on down there about, couldn't have. I don't know
Right.
if you remember where that road was. Amy Mae Wilson was next to him. And they lived on the next settlement. But he was just up above Mike Campbell and them had the buses. They was kind of, white folks are up to date, you know.
Right.
You know what he told Mom that night? He said, "Dollars about that time, it would rain." I said, "Mom, I wouldn't go nowhere." She said, "Ah, boy, let's be quiet." Know what he told her? Says, "Raining," said, "but I'll let you ride the mule part of the way." Now he going to deliver
his baby.
and then they'll let you ride it part of the way. Well, Mom couldn't get up on that mule anyway, because she
But she went.
And guess how she got paid? You know that?
I told her last night. I know one time she got a chicken for pay for.
Well, she got some firewood. The guy brought her a load of
But for firewood. In exchange.
Now, how much it costs to have a baby now?
I remember, and she delivered all of us.
Yeah, right.
I remember when Rosie was born, and back there in that back room back there at the house, we had changed and put a bedroom onto the house.
I was telling Barbara yesterday, I remember when James was born. Dad and them, they been in the fireplace. Me and Leroy let them build a chimney back there and put a little red hot heater back there. And
that's in that back room.
And shoot, that day they built it, the day after Christmas, that's when James was born, 26. And I hear them when they squall out. We out there had probably part of a gallon of that old moonshine out there building that chimney. The guys was, I just out there, I wasn't big enough to do nothing. And that's when he was born. I was telling somebody about the other day, I remember that 26th day good.
I don't remember when James was born. I remember when Rosie was born, because I know when Rosie was born, she was so small, and Mom, grandmom, she brought him into Mom on a pillow. She was so, Rosie,
right, not even
but wasn't big as your hand. And the size of her now, but she was about the size of that you could put it in your hand. She was too small to carry, so she put her on the pillow because she didn't want to hurt her.
How about that?
Yeah. And now evidently she must not weigh more than 2 or 3 pounds. And now you can't even leave the hospital unless you weigh at least 5 pounds.
Right.
But you could put her in the palm of your hand. She was that small.
And she lived. Well, they told me that I was going to die. I was so puny. So the doctor told me. But this old guy, before you get out there where the Chaneys live, he dug roots and herbs and stuff. And now he was a hillbilly mountaineer. He looked like there wasn't Jed Clampett did before he left the hills. And Uncle Norman, that picture you showed, Uncle Norman, he was swimming in a creek, and something bit him. And they used to have what they call a lamp eel on there. He would bite, they claim, but I don't know if it was probably a moccasin. But Well, grandmother said that they had to hold him to feed him in the bed. He wobbling just like a snake.
I remember that. I remember him saying that.
Yeah, so this old
He got bit twice.
yeah,
Didn't
maybe so. I remember that one time, but this old white guy, he picked up some stuff. She said, "Doll, so I'll have something when you come out. See it going out to see your grandfather. I'll have something fixed up for you to get that boy when you come back." So he brewed up some kind of herbs that cured him.
No.
He lived till he got in that accident. He's coming down there, the old log truck ain't had no brakes on it. They was drinking and probably harding, and the truck ain't had no cab on it, just a seat and a windshield.
Was you with him?
No, I wanted to go with him. They said, "No, sir." I think it was old brother. Somebody said, "You live longer, so if you stay here," and he got killed, and that hurt me.
To what we've had, the good times that made us laugh outweigh the bad. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever has flown away. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. I don't know where this road is gonna lead to. No. All I know is where we've been and what we've been through. And if it gets me to tomorrow, I hope it's worth all the pain. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. To yesterday. And I'll take with me the memories to be my sunshine after the rain. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Saying goodbye, yeah, to yesterday. Don't you know it ain't easy? Saying goodbye to wonderland. Well, let me tell you, the stars above us, it's not easy. Oh, no, no. Oh, to yesterday it fades away. All I have are memories that's dull and gray. Come on and let me say that ain't easy, no, to say goodbye when the one that you're loving got to say goodbye.
The Great Migration was a period when millions of African Americans left the South for the North and West between 1910 and 1970. Alabama was a major contributor to this migration. Some of the factors were economic opportunity. Jobs in the manufacturing industry were more available in the North and West after World Wars I and II. African Americans in the South faced legal segregation, lynching, and voter disenfranchisement. Jim Crow segregation and the resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan made life in the South difficult. From 1910 to 1930, African Americans from Alabama and other states in the Middle South moved to Chicago and other Midwestern cities. They also moved to states on the East Coast, and one of those states was Delaware.
You remember Pop, Julius Humphrey. Now we got the horse in front of the wagon, son. That's when I was involved in it. Me and Pop was there, we then Pritchett, then things wake were a little rough. We'd go over to bowling kind and pick up potatoes and catch a little odd job. He told me, he said, Big Ray said, let's get that tramp truck and go to Delaware. So we caught a tramp truck. And the tramp truck is a migrant workers truck, where they haul migrants from the south to the north to work in the fields and different stuff. So me and Pop came on up here. Me and him, the first two left. Pop, he stayed here. He didn't go with us. I caught the tramp truck and went on up there. But Pop stayed here. Then I went on back down, went from New York back down to Hagerstown. No, Hancock. Hagerstown was the biggest town there. And I met up with this Indian girl, and she's a pretty thing too. And left there and went down to Winchester, Virginia, and picking apples. Then this girl wanted to go with me, but I wasn't but 17 years old. I couldn't take care of Raymond. This girl, she was 22, and I was 17, but she's a pretty Indian. I'm in Florida there hustling oranges, and man throwing out half of them, said they ain't sweet enough. I said, well, you want me to taste every one of them? So me and a friend, he was from Mississippi, we hitchhiked the ride back to Mobile, and then I went on back up the country. Stayed there, riding with Pop, but that time he had sent and got Annie, your grandmother, and she come on up here with him. Well, that following, I would around there for a while. Then Tuppy, she packed me a lunch, and Malcolm, they took me down to the station. She fried me a chicken, boy, like I love chicken. I'm hitting that bottle, that ignorant water the other night, so left my chicken on the table and didn't have but $2 excusing my ticket. That was a long ride. So then I came on up here. Following year, that's when Bit come up to visit, when she come up. And I think she came, or her and Tuppy came together. No, I went back down there. Then Bit and Robert Fuller, they brought me back up here. I had a car, I sold it to one of the William boys there. He wanted it, and Robert, he brought me back. Then they went back. Then, I believe your mom came first, Tuppy. Then Bit come last, and up the ring. And that's how we got here, got homesteaded. We got here the 4th day of July in 1954. Hot. We come up here, and we had about, Pop had 60 cents, and I think I had 40 cents. And a loaf of bread, I think, cost a quarter. Well, they had this scrapple in there, big chunk of scrapple, I guess it's 2 pounds. It was about 60 cents. We thought it was hoghead cheese. Instead of getting bologna, something we used to, but see, back home now they made South meat, a hoghead cheese we call it. And it's pressed down, cooked off the bone, and put vinegar and seasoning in it, and you could eat it raw with crackers or just slice it off. We thought that's what it was. We went back down and sat down and cried the road, opened it. Papa let me get the first slice, man. I got that stuff there, and it wasn't what I thought I was putting in my mouth. Then he had his teeth out. Then I remember it just like looking out that door. He said, baby, what you done bought here? I said, I brought the berries, but he let me pick it out. Me and my line said, I'm just reading them mine. We didn't know what it was. We couldn't eat it. We tried to eat it raw. Sitting there. And like to starve to death for I got here. I should have got off at State Road. But my ticket said Wilmington. I went on to Wilmington. I got up there and went around to the ticket agent and I said, what time the next bus go back down to Little Heaven and Magnolia around? He said, tomorrow 1 o'clock. So you supposed to got off at State Road. And the bus was down. You went on. I walked around there in Wilmington hungry as I could be. Boy, I was hungry. Went in this restaurant, this black guy, I don't know if he was a dope pill or what, he dressed fine, overcoat. He ordered some beef stew. And he told the neighbors, the waitress said, come in and get this mess. Who you think gonna eat this steak? Tough stuff. I went to tell him to get to me, I ate it. Man, I was hungry. Walked on across that field because Papa had done broke and told me where he was. Man, I wasn't even hungry now because I left there on a Saturday night on the bus, Greyhound. Left out of Mobile at 12 o'clock midnight. I remember that. And this guy sitting inside of me, he had some liquor. I said, man, what about a little shot of that? Rum and Ray. He said, you give him 50 cents, I'll let you help drink it. Well, he gave me 50 cents. I gave him 50 cents. He let me have a swallow or two of it. But I shouldn't have drunk that because it's going to make me that much more hungry. The next day, it was Easter Sunday. That was right about Good Friday. We got in Atlanta. Greyhound was on a strike through the state of Georgia. Had to catch the local to ride from there to South Carolina. And that bus was so crowded, I was standing up and leaning and weak. And so the bus driver, he's going through these little rural towns, you know, and somebody would be on the porch out the rain flag and he'd stop. That bus was packed from the front to the back. I'm standing up, can't hardly stand up, I'm so weak. This black girl sitting there and this old lady got up beside her. I went to sit down there next to her. She said, honestly, I'm saving this seat for my boyfriend. I said, if you don't get over, I'll sit in your lap. That bus driver, you know, they can see every back there. He looked at me, I could see him smiling. Cause she had done slid over to the edge, you know how them see. I told her if she didn't get over, I'd sit in her lap. I meant it too. I couldn't hardly stand up. It was a Kimber. Pop got in with Leonard Elfrey. He's a big wheel up in Philadelphia somewhere. He had a big farm and a big farmhouse. Down they call it now Skeeter Neck Road. I don't know if you know what that road is. You know what that road is? Just before you get to Frederica, down before you get to Barrack Chapel. Right in a sharp curve, it was a farmhouse sitting back there. And that's where Pop moved in that house. And so that's when Tuppy come up. That's when I got married, living back there with Pop. But I done went back home about once or twice, and your mom was still there, and they decided to come up here. So anyway, that's why, but we come up first.
Okay.
I remember this mosque, I think he was her nephew. They were shooting dice and gambling or something and got in an argument. And the white man went home and got his gun, come back. Well, he run this Moore's cousin all the way to his house. Back then, they kept the gun up over the door, right there. They kept it loaded too. So he run this black guy all the way home there, and he just run on in the house, running in there and reach up through the door, got his gun. This white man throwed it up to shoot him, but when he see the black guy had a gun, And when he pulled the trigger, he shot my cousin in the feet. I remember that, because my grandmother picked a lot of the shots out of his feet. But he bowled that white man up in here and blowed him back out of the way and killed him. But they come over there looking for him and looking for him and looking for him and for him. And the same night that them white folks come to our house, whole gang, no cop or nothing. The cop might have been with them, but it's just a gang of them. And but he had just left that day and went on down to Mobile or wherever. And I think he turned himself in down there. But up there in that little country town, they would have lynched him. He wouldn't have had no trial.
As this journey comes to an end, and we reflect on how families survived and overcame the worst times in America, it will paint a picture of resilience and determination that we can overcome any obstacle that we face today. Booker T. Washington said it best: "Success should not be measured so much by the position one reaches in life as by the obstacles one overcomes while trying to succeed." There is no possible way to document all the accomplishments and stories of our great family, but what was left for us is a path to continue to strive for greatness. So this journey may end after the credits roll, but the journey of the Allen Chaney lineage will live on forever. Before I go, I would like to leave you with this. All families are different, and some are estranged, but we must fight together to break that chain, never forgetting the path that was laid, but to continue this journey that our ancestors paved. So continue to love one another. We are all we have, teaching the next generation to stay on love's path.